long story short, I put out a video talking about how there are people out there who will take one side, one position, one theory, and proclaim it as the only one that makes any sense. And if you don't believe them, you're not understanding their position, you don't understand logic, and you're stupid, and you're wrong, and they'll try to manipulate you and stuff. And it's really ironic because under that, someone was doing exactly that to me. And I wanted to tell you a little story about it. So the video was about how most scholars believe in JEDP, which is a position about the Bible that the first 5 books of the Bible were written by many different authors and compiled, okay? And my argument is that there are scholars that take that one theory and say, this is the only one that makes any sense, period. But the issue is there's not a single scrap of physical evidence that this ever happened. No one in antiquity ever spoke about these so-called books before the Bible. And we don't have a single scrap of a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy. We don't have the books, and we don't have anybody talking about those books. And so there's no physical evidence that these books ever existed. So other theories could make sense too. Like the Christian theory is that Moses spoke about God in different ways. And that's the only reason the writing styles are a little bit different, and that God is referred to as 2 different titles. And so that was my whole thing. And someone said under there, you have a master's of divinity, but you don't know that the Torah was written by Ezra. And I thought he meant the idea that, so after Moses died, obviously someone had to write in Moses died, because in the Torah it does say Moses died. So obviously Moses didn't write that. Who wrote it? So the leading theology about that is that one of the other prophets led by God, maybe Joshua, maybe Ezra, wrote in Moses died and updated certain localities, such as seas. If they weren't called the same name anymore, they would update the name of the sea, that kind of stuff. But they didn't change any actual material in it. But he was saying that Ezra wrote the entire thing. And he said, it says so in Ezra 7. And I go to Ezra 7, and I'm like, I remember that happening, but I don't remember exactly what happened. So they found, God had given them the Torah, and Ezra was able to find the Torah. That's what it says. He was given the Torah by God. And so that guy was saying, no, that means Ezra wrote the whole thing. Ezra wrote the whole Torah. And he's like, that's the only position that makes any sense. You don't read, so he keeps bashing me. He keeps insulting my intelligence. He keeps saying, you don't understand. And when I look, I had never even heard that position, because that's not a position I've ever heard in my studies. I've studied the Bible for years and years. And so I look it up, and what a surprise. It turns out that it's a very small theory, and it's totally unsupported by the Bible. Obviously, the Bible says it was given, not that he wrote it himself. I mean, to say that given and he wrote it himself and then proclaim to the people, hey, I found this ancient document, because obviously he presents to the people as an ancient document. So not only is Ezra just straight up lying to the people, if this were fact, just saying, oh, this is an ancient document I found, we all have to do it. So I found out this is the only way, because I found out this guy's Muslim. And so Muslims, the Quran says, I've read the Quran twice, the Quran says that the Torah and the Gospels are true. And obviously, they don't coincide with each other. They don't match up. So how can that be? Well, his argument is that Ezra just rewrote the whole thing. Super easy. I don't know what his argument is about the Gospels, but, it's just funny that you see these people, they come in, they manipulate you, they call you names, they try to make you feel stupid, and most people just accept, okay, well, maybe Ezra wrote the whole thing, and then they leave because they don't want to do the research on it. But it turns out that this is believed by almost no Christian. Some scholars believe it. Some Jewish people believe it, because many Jewish people don't believe that there was an actual God. And a lot of Muslims believe this because it's an easy out on how the Torah is true, yet the Quran is true, yet they don't they clash with each other. So how do we reconcile this? Well, easy. Someone rewrote it, and now it's wrong. Okay, so you got to watch out for those people. That's what people do sometimes. They try to manipulate you and make you feel stupid to believe their position, and that shouldn't be. How are Christians supposed to react? We are supposed to be loving. If you are attacking the personal character of someone because they have a different position, or if you are judging someone who is not a Christian, you're being wrong. That's wrong. God says to love everyone, especially those who are not Christian. We're only supposed to show love. There's supposed to be no judgment whatsoever. So, love God, love others. Show God love by loving others. That's what he says to do. Love others. That doesn't mean we have to accept everything they do, but that does mean that you have to love them. Don't put them down because they believe differently than you.